Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to. Actually, you know what? I don't even know what episode this is.
I think
30.
it's 33 because 32 we recorded 33 or we thought we did and the audio didn't
Yeah.
now.
See, that's
But
that's what's throwing me off now. In any case, here we are again. Like Charlie said, we had some technical difficulties, and by we, me, Zoom kind of freaked out. I think it's because I recorded that a little bit, and then I was like, well, let's just start over. And when I
yeah.
did that, I deleted the file that it was in. And then when the new one recorded, it actually put it in that same file. And Zoom has its own like format that they use. So I couldn't use like I have converter software on my computer,
Yeah.
and I could have just like converted it to like WMA or whatever, MP4, and it didn't recognize the extension. So that's why that happened. A little bit of a story for you. But how you been, Charlie?
I've been good. I've just been exercising a lot, cooking a lot, doing some reading, binge watching everything. I did a little it was May the 4th this past weekend, so I did like a little self Star Wars marathon. I went from the prequels all the way up to the recent one that just got released, Rise of Skywalker. So
Yeah.
I watched 1917. You told me about it. You said definitely watch it. I watched that last night. So
Yeah.
really good movie. I love the deep shadowing in it, which is, for those that might not know what deep shadowing is, it's where you could see the background scenery pop in to the scene. So like Citizen Kane made that famous, where you had the
Right.
characters talk, but also the camera focuses on the set. There was definitely a little bit of that, especially in that scene where he's running. The main character is running and he's being shot at, and the broken village or buildings around him.
Yeah.
That's that kind of deep shadowing. The cinematography in that movie is great.
Yeah. They so like you probably noticed like the lights that were kind of flying over, they were actually
Yeah,
shooting flares, and they even built like a mini model of that and simulated like a flare going over the landscape, and they were like looking at how the shadows moved because they kind of wanted to make it like ominous. And
yeah,
I think like that scene was like pretty tense, like he was just surrounded by the enemy in an unfamiliar
yeah.
place that was like in shambles. But like the set designs and the cinematography is just it's unreal. And of course the soundtrack's pretty good too. That's a pretty big part of it. The reason why I know about that is because we watched the special features, and
Okay.
like Hillary and I were both really curious how they made that, because it's unbelievable, man. And it was good. Richard Madden from Game of Thrones, he was in there, right? You remember that part? He was the
Which part was
brother.
he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently he did that shot, that very emotional scene, one take,
Yeah.
his first take,
Wow.
and that was like a really powerful scene. He
Yeah.
just nailed it. Like
I mean, sometimes you got, depending on the time you're in. I mean, if you're able to get it done, in one take, I mean, that's great. And sometimes you have to do that because there's a lot of continuous shooting throughout the movie, which
oh yeah.
what really helped it. It's not a very dialogue driven movie. It's scene by scene by scene and just
Yeah, it's
action.
it's very visual, and yeah, I mean it's crazy what they were able to accomplish. But it was I really liked it. It's a great war movie that was like, I don't know, there was a little bit of conflict, but it wasn't like full scale. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
more just telling a story from, I guess, really a guy's perspective, one man's perspective. But yeah, it was great. Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch was in there for a little bit. He kind of had a little scene in there, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big name cast,
Yeah,
which is good. I kind of like that. I kind of like that you didn't focus on like the casting or that. It was
yeah.
just solely the characters, the moment.
Hmm.
There's not a dull moment. I mean, there's nothing really slow about it. Like, there's no slow scene. It just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. Which, when you're thinking about war or any kind of battles, that's how it is. I mean, it's just constantly. So very well done, Sam Mendes, great director.
Yeah,
Um, you know, uh, I could see why Parasite definitely won the Oscar, but if they had given 1917 it as well. I mean, no surprise there. I mean, like I said, the cinematography is beautiful.
Right. I haven't even seen Parasite.
Parasite's good. I mean, it's different. It's out there. Of course, it's all subtitles, but it's a very interesting plot.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say different for many films that have won the Oscar. It won both the international film for best international film, and the Oscar on top of that.
Yeah.
But the director made a very popular suspense thriller that Tarantino is a huge fan of called The Host. I haven't seen it yet, but a lot of people told me to see it. So all this stuff is very suspense driven, intense, but I always suggest it. I think it's good. But like I said, 1917 definitely, when it came to cinematography, I mean, breathtaking.
Yeah, it was really good. So, you want to start with the beers, I guess?
Start with the beers, yeah.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and crack them.
Yeah, that.
Damn. Hey, that was in sync. Oh, man, I got beer on my monitor.
Yeah, this one kind of – because I think this one kind of fell around in my fridge last night. But, yeah, actually did a little kind of detox for like 9 or 10 days. So.
Oh, yeah? Well, we had a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, I thought, go a little clean slate. Sometimes it's good, even though I'm in quarantine, haven't really been drinking that much other than when we do this podcast.
Yeah.
But, and I really I don't know about you, but I don't really drink much at home. Like I'm always more of a
social.
Yeah. Cause remember that my birthday last year, that buddy of mine got me the Johnny Black Label. Johnny Walker Black Label.
Yeah.
And like it took me months to get through that. Just because not because I didn't like it, I like it, but I'm more of an out and about, person than home.
Right. So my first beer that I'm going to talk about today is True Love by Martin House. This is a raspberry sour ale. Here's the can, so everybody can see it. True Love. This, I think, started off as like a, maybe just like one of those beers that they kind of throw out there, and now it's a year-round beer. But it's great if you like raspberry. There's a little bit of that, even on the nose when you kind of smell it. Yeah, the sours, man, they kind of make your jaw hurt right here, a little bit.
Kind of like a Jolly Rancher, sort of.
Yeah, or like a Warheads.
Yeah,
Warheads are pretty good way to put it. But yeah, what's interesting about this beer is that it doesn't really maintain a head very long. It's already gone. Maybe that's a thing of sours. Actually, I've never really thought about that. But there's carbonation in it for sure. But yeah, this is a really refreshing sour, like a fruit sour beer, which not a lot of people like. But I kind of like that zip. But I'm really excited about the second beer I'm gonna talk about. I'm really looking forward to that one because I haven't had it in a while, and I saw it at Total Wine, and I was just like, yes. So it kind of reminds me of another beer, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, and I guess I should kind of talk about the alcohol content. It's 5.2, so it's a fairly easy drinking beer. It's not like it's more sour than anything. It's this doesn't hit you in the face with alcohol, that alcohol kind of taste. What about you? What do you got?
Yeah, so I haven't had this. This is a collaboration beer. I'm just going to show right here. It is the Deep Theory Black IPA. So what's cool about this, it's a collaboration between Steam Theory Brewing Company and Deep Ellum Brewing Company. Their brewmaster Brian Morris and Steam Theory's Kirk Roberts got together and made this multi IPA, which I don't think I've had really a multi IPA. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I'll show it.
So you haven't had it yet?
No.
Here we go.
This is a newer release. I'm gonna let the head kind of go down a little bit, but I could tell you right now, it is as you can see that once the head rises, it's
got quite a bit on there, bud.
Yeah, a little bit of pour. But it's kind of got. Yeah, kind of like that malt, kind of like a stout almost.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let that kind of acetate, but
What is it? So what's the smell like when you put your nose up to it? What do you get out of it? Like compare it to anything. It doesn't have to be
which, by the
food.
way, this is the toughest time of year for me to smell beers.
Well, you'll be able to drink it, so at least you can do it that way. Are you picking up anything?
Um,
I hear your nose whistling over there, so
yeah, I know it is so hard. It is. This is like the. It's funny. There's a UFC fight tomorrow night, and the one of the fighters in the main event is like, man, pretty much kind of paraphrasing. If he breaks my nose, that wouldn't be bad. I haven't smelled for 12 years. I'm like, that's allergy suffers. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like right now, like Zyrtec every day.
Right.
But also I think it's a little tough with the head. So it's starting to come up. So it's kind of got, so I'm going to go ahead and.
It's very dark. Like a stout.
Yeah. It's, it's definitely, you have that hop, but it's not overbearing. It's kind of like, in a way, like if an IPA kind of got also a little bit mixed with an English pale ale, if that makes like an English, or maybe an English brown ale almost.
So like it's malty.
It's malty,
hoppy.
Yeah, it's not. It both complement themselves. Like it's not overly malty, which definitely stouts can be.
Okay, so it's balanced.
It's balanced, and maybe the right way to say is more like I would say what's actually closer, probably a Scotch ale, because I would say more of a Scotch area, but still not malty, not overly malty.
That's good.
Not overly hoppy either. So. Yeah. But I mean, if you poured it and if you're like, guess this, I wouldn't have thought right away like an IPA by any means.
Right.
And you can just tell even by the head on it. And usually when you have stouts or Scotch ales, you're going to have that. So it's about a 6.5%. I actually have it right here because I was doing a little just research on it because I thought it was very interesting, but I think it's like 6.5%.
6.5.
Yeah,
it doesn't say on the can.
I can't really see on the so the can. Let me see. I was looking for it. It kind of has. I think it's the way on the drawing. They kind of have. Let me see. That's what I was looking for earlier because maybe we talk about the percentage. It is very tasty, though. I tell you that much. You could definitely have more than one of these.
Yeah.
But that's what I like. That it's not overbearing in any one of the parts. I don't see it. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong, but I have it right here. Okay, so it is the percentage on Deep Theory is 6.5. Yeah, so 6.5%. So that's not bad. That's not.
Yeah, it's not much more than the True Love.
Yeah, and
it looks like a 12, but it's a lot lower.
Yeah, this looks like it could be at least 9%.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if you're looking at kind of like when we talked about like it could be like a Scotch ale or stout, but it looks like a higher content, but it meshes very well.
Yeah. So how long has it been since you had a haircut?
When was spring break?
Oh, I guess it's not bad. That's like middle of March.
Yeah,
almost
2 months. 2
yeah.
months. Yeah. Because I got it right before I went to Vegas. And
that was right before it broke out.
I typically have to get a haircut every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
With my hair, just because I have a bad cowlick, so it's like if I don't, that pops up, and I usually like shave it down, but it'll take about 3 weeks. So going about 2 months is the longest. So worn a lot of caps.
Yeah, right. But you're still working from home.
Still, yeah. I'm still from home. Nothing on the museum yet. I guess since the last time we recorded. Texas is slightly open, barbershops, salons today. Last week, restaurants had the ability to open, but at a certain capacity. Museums that had non-interactive areas. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure eventually by June, a lot of stuff will probably, not speaking on the behalf of the museum, but I think, it looks like everything's gradually within the month of May. Gyms will be next week, but everything with precaution and that. So,
Right.
So yeah, and Steam Theory, we just mentioned they're going to be opening this coming week.
Yeah.
But I think it's on everybody's mind, and like when should you not, because it's left up to the business. So I think as long as everybody's taking safe precautions, and the capacity. I mean, going back to you working, with your job. I mean, what are you kind of looking at as far as? I mean, I know you're in the stores, but are you thinking that it's like gradual's better from what you've seen, lower capacity?
Yeah, I mean, just from what we generally know about, how viruses behave, always a less dense population or capacity, however you want to put it, is always good. I think it's important that we open, with caution and, still, I think people should still wear masks because there's that possibility, and they're saying it's a pretty big possibility that there will be a second wave. So,
Yeah.
we might as well brace for that because it will happen. But I think this is the right way to do it because that way we can kind of learn from it. And if it's a bad idea, we'll find out and maybe we can make adjustments for it. But I think it's good to help the restaurants and these businesses open to against certain with certain guidelines. Like today I had to get a new phone. So here's what I got. I got an iPhone 11. Oops, almost dropped it.
They're great. I mean, the iPhone 11 is like the all around quality with that is awesome.
Yeah. So I went to AT&T today and got that, but they were doing like this curbside service type deal where you could either park your car and just wait in your car and they'll come to you, or you can go up to like this table that they have, and of course they have like stickers that is 6 feet away. So they're that's just showing you that companies know how to do this. Businesses know how to open it up and be responsible while they do it. They're not just like letting like hundreds of people in. I couldn't even go into the AT&T store to look at like phone cases and things like that.
Yeah, they had a kind of block.
She just took a picture with her iPad, and she's like, well, here's what we have. And then I just asked her specifically if they had like OtterBox. That's what I like to use, or OtterBoxes. Like this is a OtterBox case, and it's really thin. It's not like bulky either, so it's not much wider than the phone itself. But I'm just used to iPhones. I tried Android. It wasn't for me. So
well, and you listen to iTunes Music too, right?
Yeah, I have an Apple Music subscription.
Yeah, so it's kind of like losing that and all the music you've had.
Yeah.
Even if you use Spotify, still you like your Apple Music, because Spotify is still will eat up some of your data though.
Yeah, and well, it depends. Apple Music can too. So all you have to do is just download the music that you plan on listening to, and that way you're not streaming it constantly.
Oh, from Apple
or Spotify, you can download.
Oh, okay.
Spotify too.
I mean, that makes sense. What's funny? I've utilized Spotify for a long time, but I never fully had a subscription. And then I finally last week I was like, you know what? I mean, I use it all the time. I don't know why. I mean, it's just because I had so many other subscriptions,
Right.
And I use Apple Music a lot more, but there's so much content now on Spotify that it's, and I'll still, people I know, that are artists, and I'll buy if they're on iTunes and purchase certain to support. But it's nice to have the unlimited what Spotify has.
Yeah. I mean, Apple has quite a few, they have quite a bit. I mean, they have the money to, because like, I don't know if it's still true. I mean, not that like she's in my playlists or anything like that, but Taylor Swift wasn't on Spotify.
It's okay if she's in your playlist. That's fine. That could be a guilty.
Well, she's, I just know that there was some kind of dispute between her and Apple, or no, her and Spotify about her being on their platform. probably not paying her enough or something. Who knows?
But, I don't know how that really. Well, on my other podcast, I had Boom, who you might have seen. I've always posted, hip hop artists, and I asked about that, like with iTunes and the percentage and the cut and all that with the money. So it takes a lot of effort, and maybe more effort for a newer artist or an upcoming artist, but it definitely to get a certain percentage back.
Right.
Like, so I'm sure even with these bigger artists, like what is worth on the platform,
Yeah.
because there's no CD days anymore.
Right. I mean, they still sell them. Like, it's crazy. Walmart's now typically have like this section of CDs that's maybe like 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
That's it. They used to have like rows of them in like alphabetical order. In most places, like, Best Buy, same thing. And then they just they shrunk on it because it's so digital now,
Yeah.
The only thing I see a lot in those stores is like DVDs. Those are still, still have quite a few of those. But even those have been cut down from what I remember from a while back.
All the digital.
But it's all digital. So
remember going to the festivals, the music festivals like Warped Tour or anything like that, and people like they were up and coming or indie local would have the CD for you to listen to and the headphones, and they wait out there in the parking lot or the main area of the festival and you would listen to their CD. I mean, I guess now they just pull out their phone and MP3,
or maybe like they just send you to like
the link,
or the SoundCloud or Bandcamp or something.
I mean, that's all. Like, it's just funny how times have changed like that. That used to be. Or you go to a Sam Goodies and you walk in and, on the wall there was the sample of albums, and you put on the headphones, which they definitely weren't probably sanitizing those headphones. And you listen to a couple of popular albums and see if you wanted to purchase the CD.
Yep. Interesting times, man. That's back when Blockbusters were still around. And
poor Blockbusters.
Yeah.
Luckily, Captain Marvel brought that back.
Yeah, that was pretty funny how they threw that in there. Did you have any? Have you seen anything else as far as movies go?
Yeah, Extraction. I was gonna say, if you've seen Extraction on Netflix with Chris Hemsworth, I love it. I like action movies. I don't watch them all the time, except for like the classic ones. This one is nonstop action. Not only that it's nonstop action, the fight sequences are so. I mean, the close-up camera angles, and I mean, it's incredible. It's like everything's fast-paced. There's very much downtime. I really enjoyed it. It looks like they're going to do possibly a sequel, but I highly recommend it. I mean, it's the hand-to-hand combat and that everything is wow. It's intense.
Yeah.
And do you watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
David Harbour is in it as well. He did all. He has kind of a smaller role, but no matter what role you give that guy, he's such a character actor. He's good at just becoming that role.
Is he the guy that's like plays the sheriff in?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that, and of course Hellboy as well. I mean, he's just a great character actor. He's in it. There's not too many other big names. The Russo brothers, who did the Avengers and that, I think produced this movie. But yeah, it's great. I loved it. I've watched it twice now.
Yeah.
And also Coffee and Kareem on Netflix too with Ed Helms. It's a comedy. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I haven't. Now this movie's from the straight up 90s. But I watched it with some mutual friends of ours. We did like this online watch party type thing using Zoom and Netflix. This thing called like Netflix Party or something like that. It's an app. It's like an extension for your browser, and it syncs up the movie so everybody's seeing everything like pretty much at the same time. And there's even like a place where you can chat and talk about the movie. But we were all just on Zoom using it that way. But anyway, sorry, that was a little long-winded.
No, that's okay.
But we watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the first one.
Oh, that's a classic.
And so all the people that were in there, I was like, oh, Courtney Cox is in here? Okay. Oh, Dan Marino's in here? Don't really remember that. It was just so long ago that I've seen it. But Yeah, you want to talk about a character actor, Jim Carrey.
Oh man, especially in the '90s. I mean, that was some of
Yeah,
his
that was like the golden
best
age
work.
for him was the '90s, I think. I mean, he did other good stuff. I think we've talked about it. You know, he's done other great films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, I mean, he started. So '90s were really his like. You know, he had The Mask, Ace Ventura, Cable Guy,
Liar, liar. Yeah.
Liar, Liar, and then of course The Truman Show, which a lot of people thought he should have got an Oscar nomination.
I like
for.
that film. That's great.
The Majestic, which is another great one.
Haven't seen that.
But the 2000s, like up to now, he's still done his comedy, but he's starting to do more drama, like Eternal Sunshine is one that's the number 23.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and apparently he was in Sonic the Hedgehog, which people have said that's a great movie actually.
Oh, Dr. Robotnik. Yeah. That's right up his alleyway. I mean, he's good at being over the top, but I mean, he's one of those actors that can be serious too.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't fully watched the series, but he was on that Showtime show Kidding, where he's kind of like a Mr. Rogers type. And that's a very dramedy type show. So
yeah,
but I would love to see more Jim Carrey movies.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen Dumb and Dumber, right?
Oh yeah, and then you had the sequel to that, not the prequel, but the sequel with him and
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah,
What's his name? Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
Okay.
They never missed a beat. I mean, they still had the same chemistry. But it's just funny because I think it came after The Newsroom. So, he did that epic Emmy Awards, Jeff Daniels, that's serious. And now he's back to playing
Harry.
Yeah, Harry. Yeah.
Harry Dunn, I think.
Yeah.
Lloyd Christmas and Harry
Dunn. Yeah. But yeah, the 90s.
I freaking love that movie. It's one of my favorite comedies, honestly.
Oh, Dumb and Dumber. Well, it's kind of in a way ahead of its time. The Farley brothers, all their stuff, and were unique.
Yeah, I mean, you had some that were kind of, it could be, Dumb and Dumber was raunchy in some parts, but I feel like Me, Myself, and Irene took it to like a whole new.
Me, Myself, and Irene, Something About Mary.
Oh yeah.
The most
Cameron Diaz, right?
Opening scene.
Yeah. It's crazy. Forgot about that.
I mean, the 90s had a lot of gold when it came to like.
Yeah, like Tommy Boy with Chris Farley and David Spade, and then Black Sheep. They had like a little era.
Sheep, Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah.
Shrek Farley was supposed to be Shrek before he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that guy right there.
Then Mike Myers took it over.
Yeah. Which, now it's hard to think, like, all you can hear is Mike Myers. But I could definitely tell Chris Farley, like.
Yeah, he could definitely do it. What's weird, too, is that I was thinking about it, actually, the other day. But it's just weird how he actually had recorded most of that dialogue already when he died. So, Mike Myers had to come in and, do all of it. But yeah, because he died in 97.
Yeah, right after Almost Heroes with Matthew Perry.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I think that was his last movie, that was in theaters.
Actual feature film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, I'll still never forget when they broke the news of that. Even though we were kids, this huge SNL. I always loved SNL and.
Oh yeah, those are my favorite ones.
Lunch Lady and Van Down by the River was something that still.
That was Matt Foley. Was the Van Down by the River? That was his character's name was Matt Foley.
Yeah. And you could just see David. Everybody in that was trying to keep it together.
I love that. Applegate was trying not to laugh, and he kept turning like this, and
David Spade has just gone nuts, and he just had chemistry with everybody. Even the Bears scene, my favorite one is the Chippendale scene, dancing scene with Patrick Swayze.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Which is crazy that both of them are gone now.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze was that prostate cancer for him?
Yeah, pancreatic cancer.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, his last show was The Beast on A&E, I think. But, yeah, man, the 90s, Comedy was great. There's so many good movies. Big Daddy, Wedding Singer, Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then there was the Adam Sandler era. Was it Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore? He had several. Waterboy, was that in the 90s?
Waterboy, 98. Yeah.
Oh, okay. IMDb. Oh no, that was 98. What was the other one? Damn it. Who were we just talking about? Chris Farley? No, I'm thinking there was a movie. Was Office Space 99?
99, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it came right at the same time, I think, of The Matrix, right around that same.
Because it was Matrix was 99, I think, right?
Yeah, The Matrix was 99 because it happened. I mean, not to bring up an old tragedy, but during Columbine, right at the same time. So there's a lot of controversy around that movie, just because the trench coat. But anyways, 99 had that. It had Office Space. It had Mystery Men. Came out in 99. Wild Wild West.
Wow, that was 99. Yeah, because Men in Black was like
97.
7, yeah.
Yeah, right after Independence Day. I just remember because those late 90s is just bam, 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 back-to-back blockbusters. Like, that's what we did, go to the movies, in summertime, school's out. And
yeah, those are the days, man.
Yeah.
Those are the days. And then I thought there was another movie I was thinking about, but who knows?
I mean, there's so many. Of course, American Pie came out in 99.
Mm-hmm. And that came out in 99?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what also came out in 99? American Beauty.
The Kevin Spacey?
Yeah. Like late 99. And Sixth Sense.
Oh, I thought you were about to say 16 Candles. I was like,
no. Yeah,
the
remake.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the remake with some red-haired girl. Maybe like Emma Stone or something. I don't know.
Yeah, John Hughes movies you shouldn't remake, like Breakfast Club or any of that. They were great during their time.
Yeah, they were talking about doing that with Princess Bride.
Yeah, and Carly Louise, who plays Wesley's like, no.
Yeah.
Do not do this.
Yeah, because like...
Well, who would you get to... I guess you would get the Big Show. I mean, who would you get to play Andre the Giant's character? John
Cena or something?
Well, I mean,
Dave
Andre
Bautista.
was big. I mean, yeah, but Andre was bigger than that. I mean, the Big Show would be the closest one. But
Shaq.
It just worked during that time. Like, I don't even know if it would work as well. There's certain movies that the era it came out in was perfect.
Right.
But now it would be too cheesy.
Yeah. Well, and everybody would be comparing it to the original one. So
unless the movie was terrible and people forgot about the original.
Right. I mean, you have some pretty big shoes to fill. If you're gonna attempt to do that, like you risk like making a lot of people very mad.
Yeah.
And and some people might not even go see it out of principle. Like, oh no, I'm not going to go see the remake because it's a remake.
I will say there is one remake they could do that people would go see. That is Kindergarten Cop with The Rock.
Yeah, people would see that. Yeah,
and it would work. I mean, you could even have him be like a phys ed teacher, or whatever. It would work. And the original's a classic. Don't get me wrong, but if there's anything that you could redo, you could do some of the Arnold comedies with The Rock, because that is who he is now. He is the new Arnold. Like, you could do Twins, have him and Kevin Hart. Like, that's perfect because they're already got good on-camera chemistry, or Junior or any of that. You could do that with The Rock. It would make sense because it would still have the same humor,
Yeah.
Once again, a classic, you don't have to, but if you were, The Rock could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, he's a busy guy these days.
Or maybe you don't make Kindergarten Cop. You kind of up the grade, like junior high cop, whatever. But he would do it. Just anything right now The Rock does, for the most part, has been fitting for him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he's been pretty busy these days.
Yeah, he's well, of course, everything's on hold, but he's doing a super villain movie. Black Adam, which is Shazam. If you saw Shazam, that's a villain in Shazam. Then he's doing a true story about an MMA fighter, Mark Kerr. And then he is producing another true story about a wrestler who is an amputee. Or I mean, like I know, and this guy, I remember this wrestler. I mean, he's one of the was the top wrestler out there. So he's doing a lot of producing. And then the Jumanji franchise.
Yeah.
So he's just turned 48.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I mean, he'll still be going to the gym in his 50s, so.
Well, you know, mine's a little bit harder to get this. It's a little thick. Well, you know, like with him, he kind of has. Well, when I say has to, it's just all the years of athleticism and how much he eats. Like it kind of, one, it's a great outlet for him. But two, I mean, he's so many years of like, I'm sure with calories and all that, you kind of even keep it going. I mean, even Stallone and them still work out. And the type of roles you're doing, that action, you know, it's kind of demanding of you, like to stay somewhat in shape.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be good for them too. You know, they're still moving. Those guys they'll be going to the gym as long as they can, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of
physically unable to. But even then, if they can't do what they normally do, then they'll just figure out another way to exercise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a way of life. It doesn't you like you know, if you've ever been involved in sports or anything like fitness. I mean, you know, there may be certain things you can't do anymore, but staying in shape is something they just got to do. I mean, it's, you know, especially like, you know, Arnold being a former bodybuilder and that.
Yeah. The Arnold.
Well, The Rock's so positive. I mean, he's got to be one of the most, has one of the most positive mindsets out there. He always takes time on Instagram to talk to people, answer people's questions.
Yeah.
On Sunday, what's kind of cool, he'll do a live Instagram chat, and he'll bring out his tequila, which I want to try that. I don't know if you've tried it, the Terramana.
Mm.
Do they have it in the stores that you're in? Have you seen it or?
So the stores I'm in, you know, I'm in grocery stores in Texas.
Yeah.
You can't buy liquor in a grocery store.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say that from out of town. They're like, "Where's the vodka at?" And I'm like,
"No," but I mean, like I know you go to Total Wine every now and then, or that place. Like that.
Oh, but yeah, but I don't peruse the.
Yeah.
Like when I was there today, I just, you know, I kind of wanted to go look at their craft beer section. They have a pretty good one, so I was like, I wonder what they got in there, and I kind of looked around, and that's why I found what I found. Speaking of that,
have you seen Stone Cold's beer, the Broken Skull IPA?
Mm-mm.
See, I thought I saw somewhere that it was coming to Texas, because El Segundo, they're out of California.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would be cool to try that and have this on the podcast. Maybe get good old Stone Cold Steve Austin on here.
Yeah, it might be kind of hard though with the distribution with COVID going on.
Well, I thought before it was coming to Texas finally, but I don't know if that was like a limited. I don't know. I'm sure that Beer Finder we could probably check and see. I mean, for years he's been promoted, and I've been wanting to, you know, check it out.
Yeah. So here's this beer right here, which, as you can see in the glass, is a kind of a cloudyish golden color. But this here is Brunch Money by Armadillo Ale Works. And here's the bottom of what it says. It says it's a malt beverage with coffee, cacao, or cocoa. I don't like that. It's a little... it's just cocoa. I know it's a little different. Lactose, maple syrup, and vanilla flavoring. And it says on the bottom of it, it says, "Rise and shine over sleepers and awaken your taste buds with this golden brew that will make your late start a great start." And it's like, these are coins. You probably can't tell on there, but those
it's supposed to be like pancakes.
Yeah, and it's called Brunch Money. So I haven't had this in a while, so
I don't think I've ever had it.
Yeah, it's good. That's really good. I freaking love that beer. It's my brother-in-law is the one that actually had me try it. He bought it a while back. That's why I recognized it. But yeah, it's a great beer out of Armadillo Ale Works. It has like the flavorings that I mentioned, like they all work so well together. You definitely smell like the maple syrup, kind of like a caramely kind of taste or smell. But the actual taste, it's like I don't know, man. They're all there. It's very complex, and actually says it on the bottle. It says rich, complex, and inspiring. But it's interesting because you get the flavors in kind of waves. So
Yeah.
For me at first it was the maple syrup, and on the back end I got the what was it? The vanilla for sure. But like, yeah, at the first it's like coffee, maple syrup kind of a taste. And then for me, the back end is like vanilla, which is like a kind of finishes.
It's an interesting like follow up.
Yeah. And it finishes with like a pretty like caramely vanilla almost kind of taste. But it's a great beer. The percentage is, because I always like to mention that, is it on the can? 10%. So that's actually a lot higher than I expected. It doesn't taste like it's 10%. That's the thing.
So what you're saying is you can have more than one, and
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is a rich beer, and it's it's very, very complex flavor profile, but it's all those flavorings, they work so well together, and I think they kind of go like this, like you get one and then you get the others. It's not like all at once. It's as it kind of sits and then goes down. It kind of changes. But yeah, it's a great beer, recommended by my brother-in-law Jeremy. The brother-in-law that home brews. I don't think he's been home brewing lately, actually, with everything going on, and it takes up a lot of time, and they have 2 kids and everything. So he hasn't really been doing it as much, but yeah, Brunch Money again is what it's called, from Armadillo Ale Works, and easily recognizable. Comes in a 4-pack for about $10. So I found this at
not bad.
I found this at Total Wine off of Heelan Street in Fort Worth. For those of you that are in DFW, that's where I found it. What about you? What's your second one?
Here's another another IPA by Steam Theory, a brand new one. Now, this is a crowler, of course. This is I hope I'm saying it right. The Mandarina Cortina. It's a dry hop IPA. It is 5.9%. So writing about this 6%. I'm just pulling up I have the profile here just to have because I haven't. This is newer. I haven't.
Is it like Mandarin Orange?
It's got a Citra hops, so Mandarina and Citra hops. I'm not too familiar with Mandarina, but
well, it's like an orange, like a Mandarin.
Yeah, orange. Yeah, that's what I was. And I had a friend of mine. She, I
think I see Chewy.
Oh yeah, Chewy's making his guest appearance. He's not really a beer fan.
Yeah.
My friend Joy, who by the way is a big fan of Steam Theory and Celestial by Brewing. Yeah, she told me about this one she had. So I am just not pouring very good tonight. Let the head kind of but yeah, it's kind of once the head goes, I'll show you. But I can definitely smell a little bit of the citrus in it from what I can smell. That's always the toughest.
Right.
But what's good though? I can at least taste. That's ideal. Right. By the way, I got a taco pizza. Their new taco pizza
saw that.
I had the leftovers before we did this, and that's why I'm a little full because I had that, and then the Deep Theory. I was like, whew. Yeah. So this is probably gonna be a little lighter, but
right. No harm in that. Well, so what's the percentage on that?
5.9%. So riding right at that 6%. So
yeah, see what it's like.
Yeah, it's definitely. I got that citrus, which is good. I mean, especially we're right, coming close to summertime. It's already minus today.
That's really
Beautiful
nice.
weather.
Yeah, perfect.
Like
today.
you're a bike rider now. I mean, this
Yeah.
is perfect day for a bike ride or
Yeah, I went out
running.
earlier. Yeah.
But don't let it fool us. We will face some 100-degree weather at some point, 90-degree. And this is like perfect, like hanging out the pool.
Yeah. What's the color like?
So
Okay.
it's kind of a brown, gold, orange yellow, kind of blood orange, I should say. Which some blood orange IPAs, you can kind of see that too.
Yeah.
But it's got it's definitely, I taste the citrus. I can't fully smell it, but my taste buds work. So that's.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not hoppy, not really hoppy. Which I've noticed with IPAs that kind of have that. Obviously, we had Community on, and the citrus slices sort of like that too. It's not. There's no overbearing in the hoppy area. But Steam Theory is really good about that, especially with the West Coast style. Is not being too overly hoppy. Very smooth. But this is really smooth. And yeah, the citrus it complements it very well. Definitely a different contrast compared to which I like the Deep Theory, but that's, I was like trying to get that one down, especially after dinner. It's a little filling, but this is a nice, like really refreshing IPA. As you can see, you could probably see more of that now.
Yeah.
I want to add a little bit you had on it, but
yeah,
I'll pour.
Yeah, you might as well, dude.
Yeah.
Might as well. It's Friday night.
Yeah, I know. And 10 days of not having a beer. I did have a beer last night. I had the Brew Bohemians, the Czech Pilsner. It's one of my favorite Pilsners around in the area when it comes to breweries is Steam Theory's Czech Pilsner.
Yeah. I mean, that taco pizza sounds really good right now.
Oh, man, it is. You guys got to get it sometime if you have a choice or a chance to.
It's just fun, man.
I love
like
all their pizzas. Great.
Yeah. I still haven't had their pizza. The last thing I ate there was like their chicken parmesan
sandwich. And their burgers and sandwich, but the pizza is just every. I haven't had all their pizzas, but I've had their fig pizza. I've had the classic build your own or pepperoni. I've had I think it was the White Wonder. It's like a white sauce. It was really good.
Yeah.
But this taco pizza it's like refried bean and oh man, it was Phil. I'm still a little full.
Yeah. Chewy dog. I see Chewy dog behind you.
Flying around. He's probably hears me talking about food and it's like, what?
Yeah.
That dog can eat.
Yeah.
That dog can. I mean, if you need your refrigerator cleaned out, he just looks. I don't know where it goes, but
yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed it's kind of hard cooking for one. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah, it is tough. Like it's.
You have to get like things.
Being single during quarantine is not, or not having a roommate, but
yeah.
It's weird. It's like you're eating a lot. Although I don't mind it because I honestly rarely leave leftovers. I kind of cook just amount of right, or I'm hungry enough because I usually cook right after a workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is still like because sometimes I will cook things like, man, this would definitely be for two people, no matter who's living. So
yeah.
So yeah, and but I will say cooking a lot more. It's actually been kind of therapeutic. Like it's kind of fun because during the work time and that you're always rushing in breakfast. It's a quick breakfast on the go. So being able to wake up and actually make a real like breakfast or a real lunch or
a real meal.
Yeah, or even dinner because some people, I don't know if you're a meal prepper or not, but like during the week, like when I'm at my job, I usually go from there to the gym because it's next to each other, not far, or somewhere. And then I come home. So I really don't always have the time to cook or a time to like cooking every night. So
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. But what's cool about cooking is the more you do it, the better you get at it. And
yeah,
then you kind of realize like what flavors work together, what don't. And you know, I don't know if you have one, but crock pot's a good way to cook food while you're like at work, well, not like obviously right now that's not the case, but it's, crock pots. You basically, most of the time there's a little bit of prep, but you just put all the ingredients in the crock pot, you turn it on like low or whatever the settings need to be. And then while you're at work, it's cooking. And then when you come home and you open the door, it's like,
ready to go.
bam, like roast. I've been roast. Like
Do you have an Instant Pot?
Yeah.
That's been like everybody before this happened. Somebody at work was like, "Got to get an Instant Pot."
Yeah. They're great because you can do all kinds of things with them. You can saute things. You can pressure cook things. You can even make yogurt with them. They're really good rice cookers as long as you get the measurements right. The rice cooker, I know you'd probably be into that. Rice is probably a big part of your carb.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
chicken
and rice.
But like I've cooked chicken in there, really good like Mediterranean style chicken, and then eggs. Like it will like cook eggs so well and so fast, like in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And those are good for like a quick protein type deal. I actually need to make more for myself. But what kind of sucks about my job is that it doesn't really accommodate me like eating lunch somewhere. I would have to pack a lunch. I don't have any way of really heating anything up. So I would just have to like really, I guess I would have to like, if I did meal prep, it would have to be for lunch for work. It would have to be like something that I could just eat as is, like
a sandwich.
Yeah, or something. Maybe like
hard because like chicken and all that, you really should heat up. Like
yeah. I mean, it's fine if you want to eat it cold, but it's
usually but it doesn't taste as
yeah.
Like, I mean,
like fish. Like if you cooked fish and then try to take it somewhere, it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
You're probably not going to be very liked. Like I remember at work, it's like, and I would bring leftover salmon every now and then. And salmon doesn't have like a horrible smell, but sometimes fish can linger in a break room.
Oh yeah, salmon. Yeah, I tell you, my dad, he went fishing like in the Pacific Northwest. I have some family up there, and he caught like this rare like white salmon.
Oh wow!
And from like the Pacific, I don't remember which one it was, but he caught one from the Pacific, and I had some of that. Man, that was good.
Oh man,
that was so
well,
good.
next time he does let me know.
Yeah, and that's something I want to do. That's on my bucket list, is to go salmon fishing. Man,
I would love. I mean, I've never been deep sea fish. I mean, I guess I've always been worried about because I get motion sickness.
We'll just pop some Dramamine before you go.
I know. You know what's funny? That was like how I could get to like growing up. Like I had horrible car sickness, and we never flew. We would always drive to my grandparents or wherever. I don't get it anymore. Well, I'll get a little bit. It depends on the car. Like,
did you mean like you said that you get car sick and then you would always drive? You meant you would fly to your grandparents?
No. I mean, we would never fly. We always drove. My dad.
You would get motion sickness in the plane.
No. I mean, like we never flew, so we always drive. So I always had Dramamine like for years. Like I would get. What's funny? If I'm in a car that's kind of more bumpy, I'm fine, but like, anything that feels kind of smooth, like I don't get as much now. It was just as a kid.
Yeah. Man, because I've driven, you've been with me before. And
yeah. I mean, your car, but I mean, I don't know. It's weird. There's certain cars though that I've been in that I've had not as bad anymore, but I have depends. Like I can't read still in a car. Like I still can't. Like that kind of gives me the spins a little bit, but when I was a kid, it was horrible. I couldn't travel with that, but we would never fly. It was just always kind of, expensive.
Yeah, it's like Charlie would have to pop some Dramamine.
My dad's a marathon driver. He was like barely any stops. Like we're getting there, So that or I'd have to get a soda. Soda kind of coaxes the stomach, but I had to have Dramamine. But I don't need it anymore. But so I'm used to it. My body would be like, welcome back. But I don't know, like, my dad grew up doing that stuff because being in Miami, he said he used to get sick as dog. I don't think he did Dramamine, or that.
Probably not. I went deep sea fishing with some friends a few years ago, I think.
Is that with Jay? When you guys went to Galveston or out there near Corpus or the water, it was you, Michael, Daniel Bailey.
Yeah,
because Jay brought back. So Jay and I are good friends. We're roommates for several years.
Yeah,
and he comes back with all this fish, and he's like mackerel. And he's like, "Yeah, we can't eat that. That's like high mercury." Or that. I think there was only like one fish that we like cooked from his.
Probably the snapper.
Yeah, the snapper was the only thing. Everything else, he's like, yeah, that's really high in mercury, and it was there.
Yeah,
I think almost up until we moved out. Maybe we probably tossed it right before that, but it was just so fun. He's like, yeah, we can't eat the rest of this.
Yeah, you're right. That's who I went with, and we went to Port Aransas. That was about a month before they got decimated by a hurricane, actually.
Yeah.
It was that year. But yeah, we had a great time. My only complaint about that experience was we shared a boat with like 40 other people, so we were literally standing like shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. And I'm not really like a person that likes to be around like a lot of people anyway at the same time like that.
Yeah.
And it's created an environment to where I was trying to enjoy myself, but I was also flustered at the fact that this guy was like all up next to me and his lines crossing my line. And, it kind of created like I was slightly annoyed, but I was actually more focused on actually trying to catch something. And I did catch a snapper and I snapped a photo of it. It's available online, but same thing for me. The fillets stayed in the freezer for a good while because I was afraid to cook them and ruin them because fish is kind of tricky to cook sometimes. So eventually what I did is I took it over to my parents' house and my dad cooked it. And the snapper it's a really good fish. It's really mild. It doesn't really have much of a fishy taste to it. It was excellent. But the mackerel, like he cooked it, but he's like, you can eat this, but I won't. And it's really oily, really fishy. Like a lot of like Northern European countries like to eat mackerel, but like, it's too fishy. I kind of like milder fish anyway. Like, I don't know if you ever had mahi.
Oh yeah.
Or
I love
cod.
Seafood,
yeah. Cod, salmon. Yeah.
Salmon. I can eat salmon every day. One, it's not hard to cook. It really isn't. Two, I mean, the taste, it's so light. And it's really good for you. The omega, obviously, high amount of protein, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite meal. Like you were talking about rice. You've probably seen on the Instagram, like I do salmon and jasmine rice or salmon and brown rice. And I'll put a little bit of sriracha. I don't do you don't really need too many seasonings.
Man, that's what that is. That's sriracha, dude. Yeah. I thought you were dumping ketchup on all your food.
No, yeah. I used to tag sriracha so people knew that it wasn't ketchup.
Yeah.
Like, they'll know.
I thought that was so weird, man. I was like, what does Charlie put ketchup on everything?
Well, I'm obsessed with sriracha now, man.
It's good, man. Like I have a bottle of it in my pantry. Yeah. For some reason, I didn't really buy it.
It goes on pizza. Somebody told me I put it on pizza. It's not bad on pizza.
Oh yeah, you can I use it in a lot of like if I make like noodles or you can do eggs or you can do pretty much any Asian dish that I make or
it's
just chili paste.
It's spicy, but it's not overly spicy. It just blends well. You can put it on rice, vegetables. I've been putting on that and Cholula. I do Cholula not on the salmon, but I do Cholula a lot too. Like I'll do Cholula on like my eggs a lot. I'll mix it. Either I'll do sriracha or Cholula.
Yeah.
But with rice, it just mixes very well. Because I've had sriracha, like you probably had a lot of pho places and stuff like that. With so it mixes just well. But with the fish, it's just, and I'll put it on my chicken every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sriracha, it's so good.
It's pretty good, man. I like to use it to add some spice and a little bit of chili flavor to certain things. But yeah, I have a bottle of that in the pantry. It's one of those things, like when I bought it and I looked at it, I was like, wait, am I supposed to refrigerate this or not? And it doesn't say you have to, so I'm like, I'm
No,
assuming you don't.
I do because I don't mind it cold a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine either way.
Yeah, because like some people actually refrigerate their like peanut butter.
I don't like that. It just takes away like because cold peanut butter.
It doesn't spread as good,
Well, the thing is,
It doesn't spread as well.
It doesn't need it. And
No,
unless you're heating up toast.
Because I live with people that would do that, or they would put their bread in the freezer or something like that.
Well, the only thing with the bread in the freezer is like if you're past that like shelf expiration, it's probably good to preserve. But and it's never the same if you're making a sandwich unless you want it toasted. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. But then again, I don't buy the regular loaves anymore bread. I just buy the kind of thin slices because I can get through it. Because I used to buy the big. I'm like, I'm never gonna get through this, and then it gets moldy.
I love bread, man. I'll tell you, like this, the best bread that I've had lately was this Ora Wheat is a brand of bread. They have some really good stuff, and they make this buttermilk bread that is like phenomenal, dude. It's good. But I'm a bread guy. I love bread.
I love bread. I mean carbs, man. I'm pasta.
Yeah.
I know, like some people like are afraid of carbs, but I don't know. I everybody's different, and it depends on what your workout is too.
Yeah.
It's I don't. If somebody wants to cut it, I could see that. But if you don't need to, there's a lot of good nutrition, and a lot of facts with it that's good. I mean, I do multigrain or wheat bread. So
yeah, I'll eat that too.
Yeah, it's just I have to feel full. Like I can't like go to bed feeling like. That's why I don't always do leftovers. Sometimes I'll go through a whole pot of pasta in one night. Sometimes depends after the workout. It's just my body, But I mean, everybody's body's different in metabolism. Mine obviously works a little faster. So it's like if I don't like eat something like filling like bread or pasta or that or rice, like I'm gonna be starving in the next 2 hours like I never ate.
Yeah. For sure.
But I mean, it is good. I love butter toast. Do you do honey and toast?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I've done all kinds of things with honey. I've done like I used to add it. I haven't had oatmeal in a while, but I would add like cinnamon and honey to oatmeal.
That's a good combo. I mean, especially the honey makes it a little sweet.
Yeah, and you're not using like sugar,
Yeah, I rarely use any added sugar anymore. It's just so better, healthy and great. Alternatives like honey, especially natural honey. Brown sugar is good. Cinnamon is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've used
peanut butter oatmeal.
I've done that before, yeah. But like with honey, I'll put that on like peanut butter and honey sandwiches, or I'll do like for toast, I'll do honey and butter. That's usually a good combo. And actually, if you could take it a step further, you can do like honey, butter, cinnamon all at once. That'd be a pretty good combination. But yeah, Hillary doesn't like honey, but I do. And I think she doesn't like it because of where it comes from. Bees actually like process it and like they like bring it in and bring it back out.
I mean, it's good for you, especially during this time of year with allergies and all.
Yeah, especially, and so people should know that like if you buy local honey, it will be good for you for that.
Yeah, you got to be careful on honey too, because if you don't buy the local, the others are highly filled with sugar, a lot of sugar and preservatives.
Yeah.
Although the local honey may cost you a couple extra bucks, but all around better.
It could be really cool to have like a hive,
Yeah.
And being able to kind of extract your own.
There are people that do that. There are people.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. There was a pretty cool contraption called Flow Hive. It's basically like this man-made beehive, and like this is a honeycomb, right? Like the geometric shape that makes up one comb. So basically, whenever it's time to harvest, you'll pull a lever and it goes like this. And when it does that, the honey is able to go through like a tap at the bottom of it. Flow Hive, I think, started maybe on Kickstarter or something like that. I can't remember, but it's really cool. People all over the world use it because you can like them on Facebook and you can see videos on there. They always do like find the queen. Like they'll have a picture of a bunch of bees in a hive, and they're like, "We can see the queen, can you?" And it's always really hard for me to tell. But what's ironic about it is that I'm like mildly allergic to bees, but I would like to have a hive and because they're really peaceful. Like,
well, no,
I mean,
as long
as you're not messing with them,
they're a very
docile.
unfortunate creature if the whole sting in it, but they help the ecosystem and they help the environment.
Yeah, they pollinate.
That's why, I mean, not to get political, but these murder hornets they're detrimental to, because they attack the bees and the bees, while, yes, I mean, anything they could, people are intimidated by them, but I mean, we need them.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay. I know what you're talking about. I saw that, the Asian hornet. So that's not as widespread as what you're seeing online. I don't know why people start fear mongering about it, but they live where there's fewer people, for one, and they live in high altitude areas. They avoid humans for the most part.
Yeah.
They don't. So like in Japan, obviously, they're more densely populated than we are. And the only time, it's pretty rare for them to come in contact with people even over there.
For me, I didn't look at it from a people. It's just like, I know that bees are something, and I just know in general, even before that, that bees were was something that was kind of digressing already. So it's just like, bees are important. I don't think people know, like, no matter, even if it's not rapid, bees are very important.
Yeah. I think most of us know that. But what I would say is that
the happening.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, like the that hornet you're talking about, it's not widespread here.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've read it today. I'm not worried about, like, but when I was thinking about it, just because it's like, in general, like, I know bees have been kind of like endangered.
Pesticides.
Yeah,
for the most part.
So it's just one of those things. Like, I was like, when I was heard about the hornets, so like, even if it's not widespread, it's like, well, still, that's another threat to the bee population. That's just like, they're already been at a threat way before this, and it's just like,
right.
It's like, man.
Well, and I think like that flow hive that I was talking about, that's good for people to use, because then they could facilitate that growth for bees. Like,
it's just educating, It's
just so it's like, I mean, if you ever see, like, people always freak out if they see a swarm of them, but apparently they're just resting because they're migrating. Yeah. But people will call, like, an exterminator to come spray them and kill them all, when all you need is a beekeeper. All he has to do, or she, is just take the queen, and the rest of them will follow her wherever she goes. Yeah. So it's really crazy how bees work. I can't wrap my head around the coordination,
like connection,
and the pheromones and everything that they use. But I don't know if you know this, but there's, like, in Japan, where that Asian giant hornet lives. Actually, it's in multiple parts of Asia, but there are these bees over there, these Japanese honeybees, that actually have adapted to that predator of the Asian giant hornet. And what they'll do is, whenever that hornet enters the hive, they'll all pounce on them at once. Dang. And they'll vibrate, and they'll raise the temperature to like 100. I forgot how much it is. I'll just call it 117 degrees. The Japanese honeybee can take up to like 116 before it dies. So they know that if they get it just right, they'll kill the hornet, but not themselves. Or it's their 117, the hornet's like 116 or something like that. And they'll cook him alive. They'll like form a ball on him, and they'll vibrate, and then they'll, using their whatever you call it, thorax, or the abdomen. No, thorax. That sounds right. And actually cook them alive. So that's pretty cool. But American honeybees don't have that capability. They're not evolved to that point to where they have a defense mechanism against them. But I thought that was pretty interesting, and I know that was random. How I just knew that
Hey, I mean, it's
because
good.
I watched a video on it.
Sometimes we'll get very informative on this podcast.
Yeah, and I like to watch like
Stuff like
nature
that
shows.
does.
Yeah,
Ben and I are kind of nerds when it comes to like certain things like that, science, and I mean, no, but it's important. I mean, it's something to know and
yeah,
be mindful of. There you go.
yeah. Yeah, be mindful of bees. Yeah, like if I ever find any, I'll just call a beekeeper or somebody to come take
Well,
them
that's
away
good. I
safely.
mean, it's good to know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
because they do a
Honestly,
lot of good.
I've seen too. I mean, this is just me. I haven't seen too much like stress on the whole hornet thing. I think it was. I think what I'm saying is like, oh, great. There's these things going on.
Yeah, so there was a little fear mongering going on with it because people were saying, "Look, they're over here in the U.S. now, and these kill people, and they're very aggressive and blah blah blah." But they actually prefer higher altitudes. So like over here in Texas, we're like just a few. In some places like DFW, like we're like a few hundred feet above sea level, but like,
Yeah.
but it's not even over here. They found some in like Washington.
No, yeah, that's what I saw. And like, I wasn't ever like, oh, the hornets like people. I was just like, when I heard like, oh yeah, they attack bees. I'm like, well, that
Yeah.
would not be good, just because way before, like if you like you're saying, like if you keep track of this, like bees, I guess. Unfortunately, there's a lot of creatures out there and insects, bugs, animals that are, kind of back against their wall right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it sucks, but I'm hoping we're finding other ways, like, with pesticide use, like maybe there's a way that we can target specific species. But like when it comes to wasps,
Yeah.
I kill all of them. Like I found,
they're super aggressive.
yeah. So like I went around my house and I found like 5 or 6 yellow jacket nests. And yellow jacket, for those of us here in Texas, we know that they're very aggressive. They're very territorial. You don't even have to mess with them. You just walk by them. One time,
Oh, and they're like, when
I walked by a
here
nest.
now, I saw one the other day. I was like, nope, we are.
Yeah, like I walked by a nest and like when I was a kid and like 5 of them dove at my ear and all I did was walk by.
They're aggressive. They're way more bees. Like I saw a bee the other day and it was just like, whatever, and, but yeah, I see a wasp or a hornet now, or a yellow jacket. I haven't seen a yellow jacket in a while, but yeah, hornet. I'll tell you what's also out. I mean, you won't have to be as much careful, but anybody out in like kind of more, I won't say open areas, but especially if you're going West Texas. But there's parts of like I think Cedar Hill and that it's rattlesnake season.
Oh yeah, so like yeah, I bet if you're out there, pretty much I would assume in any rural area. Like where I'm from, like Parker County, like if you like the Weatherford area, there's like this guy that was his job is to get rattlesnakes out of certain areas.
Yeah.
And one instance, you know how like some trailer houses they're raised up, right? And then they have like that siding, and underneath that was like a pretty big gap because it's on a trailer. Sorry, it's gonna be loud in the recording. Oh well. But he opened that up, and there were like probably 40 of them things in there.
Oh man, I could only imagine. Well, like even at my parents' house in East Texas, they have copperheads and
yeah. I mean, at least rattlesnakes let you know that that they're there.
Yeah.
Copperheads, you won't know until they bite. And actually, like Hillary's cousin got tagged by one last year
because they hide in dead leaves.
And they're very well camouflaged too.
Yeah, crazy. I always think about that when I go to like I haven't been in a while like hiking or that, but I always think about that. I mean, you go out, in any city lake right now, especially in DFW, moccasins or my dad's popular story. Cottonmouth. This years ago. It had rained, and he thought the snake was dead. Right? He's at White Rock Lake here in Dallas, and he walks over it. And he hears this scraping sound. He turns, and it was alive, and it scraped off. Now, granted, a lot of these snakes are afraid, the cyclists, and a lot of times they do get run over. But, I mean, just talk about that close call. Now, granted, he is from Florida, so there's a bridge. So there's this park in Florida, this footbridge, gators. And him and his brother one time. But, that state has tons of snakes and stuff like that. But the thing is like, yeah, he's like, and my dad's afraid of. My dad does not like snakes. snakes. Like he does not. Well, and let's be honest, like half the snakes out there probably don't want to pick up. I'm not totally afraid of snakes, although if I saw a rattlesnake, I'd be like, you have this area. I saw this video. I guess it was a viral video where there was a snake in a truck or whatever. I'm like, you can have the truck. But then there was this viral video. It was overseas, and they were messing with this motorcycle and a cobra. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, some cultures are, like in India, they'll have like those they'll train cobras, and they'll have like snake charmers and everything.
Well, it's even there's these people though that can go chase like their snake handlers or snake. It's like no, like I'm not all around.
The late great Steve Irwin, man, he would pick him up by the tail, and he'd have him. Remember that? And he'd have him like way out here. Crikey, look at it! But isn't she?
I mean, I get punched in the face for fun in martial art. Like that says adrenaline that I need. Like I don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, even where my aunt and uncle live in North Carolina, they get bears. I mean, they're not only they have gigantic. They have bears that come up to their place.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm like, I do not mess with wildlife. Like
like snakes. Like I mean, I've actually never seen a rattlesnake. I've seen like garter snakes. I've seen like brown snakes.
Yeah, and those are not.
Snakes.
And rat snakes, I feel bad for rat snakes because people think they're rattlesnake because they'll whip their tail. That's their defense mechanism, and actually they're good for the ecosystem too. But they'll get killed a lot because people think. And king snakes will get killed too because people, and corn snakes because they'll think they're coral snakes.
Oh yeah, because of the coloring. There's a specific pattern for those, right? Yeah. The coral snake and the king snake are similar, right?
King snake, yeah. People, I mean, it's because when you're not educated, but I mean, in the moment, like it's.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's brought in like.
Yeah. Who's gonna like stop what they're doing and like Google it?
If you're not around that, like if you didn't grow up going and catch snow, like in the moment, you're just like, I don't.
Yeah. So like if you're in that situation, you don't know what it is, then you should probably just walk away.
Yeah.
Like you should probably.
Same with spiders. Like the wolf spider probably gets killed a lot just because people think it's a brown recluse.
Oh yeah. See, that's like I hope I never get tagged by one of those things.
Unfortunately, I had a great aunt that did, and yeah, it was. I mean, those are the ones that also hide in the brush. I mean, man, you go to.
Oh, they love dark places. They'll hide in clothes on the floor, shoes.
Did I ever, since we're talking about snakes, did I ever tell you Brian and I and my dad's Memorial Day weekend story? Like this is like in college, we went hiking. We stayed the night at the farmhouse,
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Dangerfield State Park, and my dad and I, we love to hike. And we took our friend Bryant, and a hike, and it was so humid. And we're walking through. They were hiking through the woods. A storm is coming, actually. And there's all these leaves, and it's a good hike, and we're like drenched. We get back, and we're fixing to leave, and the park ranger's like, "Hey, where are you guys going?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we just hiked through here." It's like, "You did?" They're like, "Yeah." Dude, there's like a lot of snakes right now.
What did your dad do?
I mean, well, this is after we finished. We were just like,
oh, okay.
I feel like we dodged a bullet because, we had jeans and stuff, but I mean,
yeah.
We walked through that whole, it was like May, which is probably, prime snake day. It was like, man, there's a lot of snakes right now. And what was crazy is fast forward to now, I work at the museum, and we have one of our junior master naturalists, and he used to work at the Dallas Zoo. And he's like, yeah, I've caught a rattlesnake out in Dangerfield. I'm like, and I told him the story. And I was like, yeah, it's like there's probably copperheads, rattlesnakes.
Yeah. I mean, if there's water around there,
I guess
water
it was
moccasins.
better that we did not know, because if we, sometimes knowing is the battle. Sorry, Gio.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
We need it, but when we heard that, we're like, what? Oh, but yeah, you just gotta be careful out there right now. Anywhere.
Yeah, watch out for those critters. I usually I found I found like snakes in the yard, but they're like the earth snakes. You know, they don't get very big. They get like probably about
No,
like
the
that
garden, they're
big.
good. You know,
Yeah,
they
they just eat bugs and stuff. And then
yeah,
like
they're
garter snakes, I don't really mess with those. But like if there's a rattlesnake back there, you gonna die, boy.
yeah.
you,
Some
you
people are
might
like,
die.
well, the reason why I bring it up is because Brendan Schaub, who's a fighter and the kid, he's been bike riding. Of course, he's out in LA and he's been coming on these trails with all these rattlesnakes and he's been posting them every day. I'm like, oh, and today, the episode, he just did an episode, Joe, and they're talking about like when rattlesnake bites and like how they've had to replace people's, I'm like,
Oh yeah, they're pretty nasty. Like Hillary's cousin, she got bit by that cottonmouth or
whatever happened.
copperhead. She got bit by that copperhead and on her leg, and it took a while for it to heal. It swelled up, got pretty dang big.
They didn't have to do any like skin graft stuff for that.
I don't think so with her. She, anti venom is pretty expensive actually, but they it basically it made her legs swell up pretty big, and whenever she got hit, she just thought felt like something hit her leg,
Yeah.
And she didn't realize what happened until she saw it, a little while later. I think she describes it on Facebook a bit, but it's just like crazy, because
gotta be careful.
All those critters out there, man. I have seen a water moccasin, and that's when I lived in Weatherford, and there was we lived by Lake Weatherford, and I remember seeing it in the water when I was in the water, and dude, I got out so fast because those things swim pretty fast, and I'm like, no, I'm out of here, dude. And I got out, and I was like, no, I'm done swimming for today. Like that's all I needed to see.
Yeah, I mean they're I've seen them come up on shore at White Rock before. You just gotta be careful. Just gotta be mindful, and they are afraid of that, but I mean it's still,
yeah,
doesn't mean they're not going to be defensive.
Right.
And I saw like 2 years ago a viral photo of like Lake Texoma and this boat and all these moccasins on it, like on the edge of it. I'm like, oh nope, I'm not getting this boat anymore.
Yeah.
Viking burying this boat right now. I have a buddy who's an MMA fighter. We wrestled together in high school. Shout out to Clayton Mai. He breeds ball python, so he had this part of his back room. I remember I was over there with my dad. My dad didn't go inside because I did kind of tell him about the python. My dad's like, I'll just stay out here. And he's like, oh, yeah, let me show you. He has this whole back room ball pythons.
Full of them.
Which ball pythons, they're actually, like, we have them at the museum. I mean, when I say domesticated, like, people have them as pets and that. But if you're not a snake person, you go into a back room that's filled with
yeah, they look a lot scarier than they really are,
Yeah.
And they constrict to kill their prey. They're not venomous at all.
The only reason why I wouldn't own a snake is because I know you got to be very careful with them.
You have to control their environment.
Yeah,
it has to be warm.
It's a lot,
Yeah, terrarium and all that.
Know what you're doing. I'm not fully afraid of snakes. Like, I've held python, but I don't like. If you're really not into that, I probably don't. Yeah, you got to really know what you're doing and hold them because you can easily hurt them. A lot of them, like ball pythons, are pretty docile in that. They're not going to train, but I would also be afraid that I wouldn't be handling. I mean, I had hermit crabs one time and they all died. It's like any kind of.
Yeah.
Like certain creatures is just like you got to be, or when I say creatures, but certain like lizards, turtles, all that. You just got to be sure, like, I mean, yeah, dogs too and cats and stuff like that, but there's certain animals you got to really be cautious with on how you handle them. So I just let the people that know what they're doing
yeah I mean, that's all you can really do.
Although I see a lizard, I think it's the coolest thing. I love lizards. I don't pick them up or that. I just think they're marvelous.
Yeah, they're like little mini dragons with no wings,
Yeah.
I thought about getting like a bearded dragon as a pet, but again, like you have to regulate their temperature and it has to be very specific.
It can, well, the thing with hermit crabs, if they don't find their new shell, that's how they die. And that's how, oh man, the smell is horrible. But
All right.
Yeah. Well, obviously it was like I won chicken pox. Like in fourth grade, we had everybody started getting like the hermit crab, and so I had
Craze. Yeah.
yeah. And I remember had one or had three of them, and they all like couldn't find their shells in time and died. I'm like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
They're cool little creatures. I mean, they're cool, but they don't. You have to be able, like, if you know what you're doing. But yeah, remember Matt Morgan? He had some lizards. He had a beard. Did he have a bearded dragon?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Or he had like it wasn't a horny toad. It was like a general. I could point it out if I saw it, but it's like a Texas lizard. They're like brown, kind of have like spines on them, but they're not horny toads, but or horned frogs or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, he had one of those.
I like chameleons. I think chameleons are cool.
Those are cool.
At the museum, Leon, and it's funny when we do dinosaur parties, we bring him around just because Stegosaurus, and he would just change color. Like, I thought that's so cool.
Yeah, chameleons are pretty cool.
Geckos
are pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, some people freak out when they see lizards. I don't know. I love lizards. I think they're
I'm not really worried about.
They're they're pretty docile. They're not they're just like.
The only lizard I'm like, I want to stay away from that. Is like Komodo dragon.
Komodo dragon, or was it the Gila Monster or whatever?
Well, yeah, the Gila Monster. Those are little, but they have like a pretty nasty bite.
And they have a lot of venom too, don't they?
Yeah, and then Komodo dragons, they just have like that. Their mouths are like have a bunch of bacteria in them, so if they bite you, then you'll get a pretty nasty. But they're like pretty scary, and they like run, and I've watched shows about them, but they're really interesting. The fact that there's a lizard that's that big, is it's crazy.
And you're like,
yeah, they look pretty close to a dinosaur.
They're about crazy. Florida has python, anaconda. Like, they have a big snake thing going on now.
Oh yeah, because people will just dump them out there.
Yeah,
because the pets, like, they're like, oh, it's too big, I need to release it, and then which that's kind of dicey territory, because if they're not native to the area, then they could easily like decimate certain populations of the ecosystem.
That
area. So it's like, dude, like, they'll thrive there. Like, I don't know if anybody knows about this. So like back in the 1980s, there was like this little drug lord named Pablo Escobar.
You might not have heard of him, but
yeah. But watch Narcos, because the first couple seasons are about him, and it's really good. Anyway, so like he had this place called Hacienda Nápoles down there in Colombia, and he had like pretty nice estate, obviously, because he in today's money he was a billionaire back then. So Hacienda Nápoles was like this really like this basically like his mansion with like all this land and all this stuff. So he started buying like exotic creatures, and one of those creatures was the African hippo. He brought some of those over, and they've actually started to populate parts of Colombia. They're actually thriving in that actual environment. Plenty of water, bodies of water. Hippos in Africa, they kind of have a sort of rough, because there's like the rainy season, the wet season, so they're having to migrate to find bodies of water. But low key, they are they kill more people than lions do in Africa. They're pretty aggressive. But anyway, there's a population of hippos in South America, in Colombia, that are doing quite well because of Pablo Escobar. So a little bit of interesting information. But it's pretty interesting. So that just goes to show you, if you take a creature from a different continent or biome or whatever you want to call it, and move it to another one, it's adapted to something different. So like when it comes over here, it's like nothing is adapted to it, so it just kind of just runs roughshod over everything. Fortunately, hippos, it's not like they go out and kill a bunch of humans and eat a bunch of bad stuff. They just they're herbivores, so they just eat green stuff. But it's just pretty interesting how that kind of happened. But all because of like some guy that sold a bunch of cocaine in the 1980s.
Cocaine and hippos. There you go.
Yeah, he unwillingly like bolstered.
This is like a different version
population.
of National Geographic. It's like,
Yeah,
nah.
right. Yeah, I don't know what happened to his estate. The house in Indianapolis. Maybe they've.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure that they have something going on with it. They may have turned into a tourist attraction for all we know. But yeah, like I would definitely recommend watching Narcos on Netflix. It's a Netflix actual show. I haven't watched the newer seasons because after Pablo, after they dealt with Pablo, I just didn't watch it after that. So I actually need to finish it because after Pablo, there's obviously more cartels down there that still pose a very serious threat. But yeah, I would definitely check that out. But I don't know about you ate, but I didn't eat, so I'm about ready to eat.
All right. Well, I mean, this has been a good episode. We cover bees, we cover snakes, reptiles.
Yeah, it started off as
Pablo and drug money and hippos. And
I was about to say it started off talking about beer,
money.
and then it kind of went to like Animal
We went
Planet.
a whole different thing. We went from beer to like
beer, film, TV, and then
animals
like
and
animals,
drug lords.
Yeah,
we are a Netflix picks for a new movie or new show.
Yeah, like make one about anything, basically.
You know what? But you know what comes full circle because we talked about Ace Ventura. Boom.
Right. Yeah, that was the beginning. Yeah, and he cared for all of them. Like he didn't care what they were.
Carrey, he's out there dealing with bees and drug lords.
Yeah. So I don't think you've mentioned this on the show, but I think it's a good idea to do it. So tell people about your other podcasts that you've been doing. You've been interviewing a lot of interesting people. I think people would appreciate what you've been doing.
Well, I started this like in October, Charlie Van year. So it's like, strictly just only interviews, kind of. And when I say variety, I just mean like I've interviewed a couple of musicians, Bachelor people, and that. So I had two former Bachelor contestants, Matt Donald and Sydney, on recently. So it's just a sit down interview, all interview based, and also of course MMA Ramble, the MMA podcast that and just real quick, UFC. Even if this post is later, UFC 249. So is this weekend, which is kind of the testing ground to see what we do with sports. The NFL schedule just came out, but we don't know what the season holds with fans. But the UFC and WWE and AEW, which is another pro wrestling, they've all been doing shows, just no fans. And the UFC, which is, a sport, MMA, not to have their first pay-per-view with no fans. And I mean, from what I've seen, and there's two guys from my gym, Ryan Spann, Uriah Hall, best selected, that are competing as well. And, they've been doing they've been testing everybody as they get there. They've been taking apparently all the commentators, Joe Rogan, are going to be separate, like they're going to be spread out, not together. So, I think this is kind of to see what will happen moving forward. Now, maybe we won't have to take those measures come fall, but I mean, this will kind of see what happened. But they're doing two podcasts, Charlie Van here, which is, like I said, mainly just all interviews. It's been fun as well. So I'm just happy to be podcasting, doing all this. And also, the Charlie Van here too, because we'll drink beer, man. So I think I've gotten some. Matt's the wine guy. I've had some people like, oh, I don't drink beer, but I drink wine. I was like, well, Matt would be a perfect guy to talk to you. So maybe we might be able to bring some of the people on. And even though we do usually talk beer, we could probably do a wine. And you could educate the both of us.
Yeah, I mean, as best as I can, I guess I can do that.
I mean, wine. How's the wine, real quick, before we go? How's the wine business and sales been going during this time?
Alcohol sales in the U.S. have jumped about 253%.
Wow.
So you're talking about that's wine, spirits, beer. And I think it's just because you can get it to go. And I think, people are kind of moving toward that, taking advantage of it. And I think why not? You're supporting the local business and you're picking your poison, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, the sales have been pretty steady. They've been, it's almost like a second holiday boom that we've been experiencing with alcohol sales. people are taking advantage of it. And especially, and I think part of it's because on premise, like that sector there's off premise and on premise. On premise consists of bars, restaurants, places like that. Obviously, a lot of those have been shut down. Venues like AT&T Stadium, Globe Life Park are shut down. So a lot of on premise has been shifted to off premise. So a lot of people are getting their alcohol now at grocery stores, which kind of the obvious reasons why there's a boom there because of that. But I'm thankful for that. Honestly, I am. I mean, I'm pretty fortunate to be in the business that I am, and then I wasn't affected by COVID because honestly, like at the beginning, I was thinking, well, people will probably spend more money on like food or things that they really need. Well, I guess people need booze too to get through this weird time. So,
I mean,
more
I
power
think
to
it's
them.
kind of a social thing, to a relaxing kind of.
Yeah, and
I mean,
people have been
not
doing
saying
like
that
Zoom
you're
like
being
happy
biased,
hours.
but,
Yeah.
and also, that like when we talk about movies and stuff, I mean, it's just kind of relaxing and you still got your shows going on to like kick back with wine or any kind of spirit or a beer and watch. That's just and that makes sense. And you have more downtime,
Yeah, you have more time. Yeah, if you're at home, maybe you're low key drinking where you're doing Zoom meetings for work. Who knows? You have it like in a Yeti cup and no one can tell the difference. But
you're Irish Baileys with whiskey.
There you go, like Irish coffee.
coffee.
I mean, absolutely. If I was at home, I'm like, well, might as well. I'm not driving anywhere.
I mean, that's a big thing. And what do you think about? I've heard from Texas. We're in Texas here about maybe pushing forward with the whole beer, not beer to go, but like alcohol with restaurants and food deliveries. Like, I mean, I think that's smart moving. I mean, this less you get people to just go out, if you cut out that like possible risk of being out drinking and all that, why not have it come?
Right. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, that means people are having alcohol delivered to them. They're not actually going to get it or drink it and then trying to drive home.
Yeah.
I think it's actually safer in a lot of ways. I think it's beneficial because the restaurants will do better because they'll still sell the alcohol. I think it's actually safer because if it's being delivered to their house, people will drink at home. Like I said, they're not actually going to like Applebee's, crushing some appetizers and having like 5 cosmopolitans and then trying to drive home. This way I think it's a little safer. And I think if the Texas government allows it to continue, I think people will still take advantage of it for sure. I mean, it's just convenience. People will be like, well, I can get alcohol too. I might as well because I can. So they will. So it's pretty cool how, Abbott allowed that to happen. And people have taken full advantage of it. And, beer to go, like that was passed this previous year. Obviously, it was a godsend for the breweries now. So
there are certain things like laws. I don't care what your political party is, where you just know everybody meets at agrees. Like beer to go is something like it makes no sense why this isn't a thing. And
because
restaurant, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know the stats like DW, all that, but it takes that risk. I say always go support your restaurants, your breweries or whatever. But still, if you have a chance to eliminate any kind of risk and having the alcohol consent, and maybe that would take more people to take that initiative to like not all the time, but a good chunk of the time.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, all right. Well,
I guess before we go, people can find me at NTX_wine_dealer on Instagram. Gaming platforms, which is mainly like Steam, Blizzard.net, which is their platform for all their games. And I primarily play like Overwatch. It's Kilgane, and that's Xbox too. So like pretty much every gaming platform I'm on is Kilgane. That's pretty much all the social media I do. I don't really do Twitter very much. I mean, thank you all for listening. Sorry about the lull last week. or a couple weeks, I think, actually now.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's just, one of those things, but we'll try to keep doing this every week. I think it's been going pretty good considering, even using Zoom. I mean, it's been a godsend because before this, like, I didn't even know Zoom existed. So this is a great way for us to record episodes, be able to see each other and talk. And, it'd be weirder if it was like a Skype call, you know what I mean? And it was just like audio and no video, but the audio or the video element to the show has been pretty cool, I think.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Zoom has been great, and the YouTube presence. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, real quick, you can find me at Charlie Van Jr. Just because Charlie Van Sr. now is on all most social.
Oh, that's why you did that. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't even think about that.
Like 217 and stuff is like, man, that's a lot of work there. And I was like, Charlie Van Jr. But yeah, you can find me there. And real quick, I want to plug this because it's in a couple of weeks. I'm sure hopefully we'll do a show before then. But I have been putting together, you probably saw, Matt, a music showcase on Saturday, May 23rd. That's Memorial Day weekend. It's called Home Jam, and it's going to feature some local Dallas-Fort Worth musicians, Little Giants, who we've had on this podcast.
Yep.
Will be performing. Boom, who I mentioned earlier. The Roommates, who were supposed to be performing at Deep Ellum Arts Festival, which I think has been postponed until September. Paul Deemer, who's been actually performing at a lot of breweries. He's a great talent who went to UTA. And then another artist, Michael Wade. It's, a lot of home performances have been going on during this time, both big recording artists, independent. They're going to be performing 3 songs. So May 23rd, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Home Jam.
Nice. Okay, I was about to ask you, like, when's the date and time, but you already covered that. Yeah, pretty cool thing that you guys are doing. Yeah, that's a great idea. But anyway, again, thank you all so much for continuing to support the show. Hope you're all doing well out there during these weird, unusual times. But it looks like
gradually kind of getting to it. Just be smart. Just be smart and be safe. That's the message.
Yeah. And if you have a mask, wear it and, maintain the 6 feet. And I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. Things are
you got to stay positive. You can't, it's good to always be informed, aware.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the extra stress doesn't help. Just know what you got to do to stay cautious, stay safe. Even with these restaurants opening up and stuff, just be mindful, anywhere you go, and even going back to work, it's just about making sure everyone is good to go, and then we can be really good to go, if that makes sense. So
yeah, just wash your hands.
Yeah, just wash your hands, which
I
should have done before, but
should have done that before. But you'd be surprised.
Sometimes curveballs. Just wash your hands, take care of yourself. Take care of others as well. Just be mindful of everybody. Yeah. Basically, stay safe and stay healthy. Yeah. And keep listening to this podcast. And let people know about this podcast. Go subscribe. Yeah, go subscribe. We're on, iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple YouTube. SoundCloud. SoundCloud if you want. Now, that's why we were seeing our faces. Yeah. YouTube. I'm more you're got a good clean cut. I look like I'm on Survivor right now. Well, I'm lucky because Hillary cuts. Yeah, she cuts. She not for a living, but she still has her license and maintains it, and she's cut some people's hair that have come over. But it's that's been another thing. I can't attempt to try to cut my own. It would be disaster. I mean, you might especially if you get to the back where you have to edge up. That's probably where it's the hardest. Yeah, because you might go or something. I'll be honest. I'm probably not going to rush to the barber yet. I'm sure. Well, a lot. They're probably really busy right now, so you might have to wait. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm having to work back in the public more. I'm right. Yeah, for sure. All right, going on right now. Yeah. Well, all right, everybody. Thanks again. I know we've said it already, but thanks again for watching and or listening, and we'll see you all next week. All right.